Hello everyone, today in this video we will come back to the more traditional form of this channel. We will come back to the form in which I discuss some books or work of literature or texts I have written and digested within my brain, and I would like to share some of my views with you. The views I find valuable enough to be shared with others. So let's start. Recently I just became familiar with the text of a book initially published in Great Britain at the end of 1940s, and the title of this book is The Arabs in History. The author is the now deceased at the age of 102 British and American Orientalist Mr. Bernard Lewis, who himself was of Jewish origin, so one can say that he wrote a book about the place of history that is occupied by his linguistic and ethnical brothers, Arabs. Of course, the relations between these two nations are very complicated, but it's not the first, not the last time in history that the relations between some ethnic groups or group of nations are very complicated. So let's start. This book is a relatively small volume, but it offers us very concise information about Arabs and their interaction with the external world and their contribution to the external world. And actually, Arabs, not only Arabs, it should be initially this book says something important information about place of Arabs in history, but later when the Islamic conquest started and more nations were absorbed into the geopolitical organism created by the people following the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, I would say, their culture and civilization from being only Arabic was becoming more and more ethnically and culturally diverse. That's why some people call these civilizations and cultures Islamic cultures. And some of them, like Mr. Marshall Hodgson, divide them into Persianates, that in Persianate, as the name suggests, the dominant element of cultures were Persian element of cultures that were there on the Iranian plateau, but also in the land of Mesopotamia before soldiers of Prophet came, and within Islam it flourished again. About the golden age of Islamic science, Mr. Lewis also writes some interesting facts, and he emphasizes this is actually common to many Western scholars, emphasizes non-Arabic origin of many scholars from the golden age of Islamic science and culture. It was actually multi-ethnic empire, Abbasid Empire, and later disintegrated into many independent states or semi-states. This is also described in this short book. That's why I'm really amazed by the level of information that it's offered within this text. And the author also dedicates few words about Karmatians, the Ismaili, so branch of Shia people who created at the at the shore of the Persian Gulf, more or less from the territory of modern Kuwait till territory of modern Oman, the state of pirates, semi-communistic state. Of course, it evolved, and author, what I really admire, shows the inconsistencies between the literary sources describing the internal relations between people within this interesting state of Ismaili people, state of pirates. And we also are actually led, author is leading us through the history till the first 2 decades after Second World War, also expressing his opinion about Palestinian-Israeli conflict, very objective one in my opinion. And we see how the Islamic world flourished, contributed to the science and to the culture, later how it went into the deep, deep crisis, and now how it starts to rebuild its meaning again. So this is a really interesting short book. For people who know something already, it's a good collection of facts, basic facts, uh, just to have them within one volume, to recall them when once needed. And for people who want to go deeply into Arabic word and Islamic word, it's a very good introduction. One of the minor flaw of this book, I think, I found, is that author, when he describes pre-Islamic times briefly, he claims that Palmyra, in Arabic Tadmur, in the eastern Syria, for a short time in the beginning of the 70s of the 3rd century AD, quite serious rival of the Roman Empire, of the Emperor Aurelian, was more was a city that was dominated by Arabic ethnic group. And not really. Recent archaeological excavations on the inscriptions and so on claimed that of course it was mainly Aramaic city, especially city with the elite, Semitic elite that was partially Hellenized. It was Hellenistic period, but they were a ruling group and demographically most likely dominating. But slowly this city that took its prosperity uh, from the trade being a hub for the long distance trade with caravans from the Far East to the Far West, it was mainly dominated by Aramaic speaking people, and Arabic people were slowly infiltrating this city. This is the reality, how we see it now, and most likely, in my opinion, this was the case. But this is only small inconsistency that for Mr. Lewis, Palmyra was dominated by the Arabic ethnic group, most likely not, in the late classical antiquity. But this is small thing, the rest is really nicely written, and I really recommend this book, Arabs in History, by Mr. Bernard Lewis, very good British American Orientalist. All the best, have a nice day, bye.